Hey everyone, Stegar here and welcome back to Hunterville. In today's episode we're going to be working on more of the area between the large suburb that we built in episode 8 and the main city centre. Here I'm just doing a little bit of road layouts before we start on the main part of the episode, where I'll start off by building this bus depot here. That building actually functions. I think one of them does and one of them doesn't, or they might do, so I have to work it out. But I'm just putting in a large parking lot where buses could park outside, and you'd see me adding some buses in now. I think these are based off some in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, and was just putting them down there as they kind of park there because they're not in use, I guess. I think these ones have a vehicle version, so that's probably why I picked them, so that I can use them later in the series when I actually get the bus network set up. That won't be for a while, as I still haven't really got a decent portion of the city done yet, and I don't want to spend hours basically redoing bus lines because they're not going to the right places from the beginning, so I'd rather just do that when there's actually a decent way into the series, and yeah, I can kind of do it then when I know what I'm doing. Here I'm just putting down some random little warehouse buildings and a shop to kind of fill up the rest of that space, and putting a chain link fence around this area to kind of fence it off. I actually use this chain link fence quite often, just to kind of separate off areas that I feel like would be separated off. I probably could have gone a bit further into the entrance to that car park since it's really wide. But here I'm using this motel and creating some sort of motel complex, and soon you'll see me do a whole lot of things with parking lots and lane arrows and things to make it look like cars can actually drive around there. I started using these raisable parking lots that aren't terrain conforming, and just using them along the side there to create some more parking areas. The buildings were a bit close together to try and fit them in between the buildings, so I'm just putting them along there, and I guess guests have to walk to their motel room or something instead of parking right in front of it. But here I'm putting down these arrow decals to kind of create like there's a road system and a whole lot of one-way stuff here, and also got the lane arrows pointing in towards this area as well, so that cars could access that back parking lot of one of the car dealerships there. And yeah, I also changed the intro stuff in my videos too. Previously, at least in my Hunterville series, I was showing basically shots of stuff that had happened before the episode, and I've now just changed that to kind of spoil the episode a bit and relate a bit more to the thumbnails of my videos. Obviously, if you're watching this, you made it through the intro, so good on you for sticking around this long. But anyway, back to the time lapse. I'm just putting in some more parking lots, and now moving over to this not a warehouse, it's a factory. It's really not a warehouse. I mean, that little bit in the front there might be, but this is the Jack's Shoe Company assets by Sync something. I've got to open a different tab here. Senfcom or something. Yeah, but I'm just using those assets here as I had them in my Hunterville collection, but not Fairview collection. I'm really kind of tripping over my words today. I had them in my Fairview collection and hadn't really used them, but I wanted to put a large warehouse in here, or large factory should I say, and so just quit the game and added them, subscribed to them, and everything else you do that wastes a whole lot of time and then wait for the game to reboot for like 5 minutes or something. But yeah, I'm just using that here and some other little warehouses. That first area that I was building the bus depot on and stuff, I did that in a save where I was using the realistic population and consumption mod, and I actually ran into some trouble with building abandonment and stuff after I enabled that. So I had to disable that and basically use the move it export feature to copy what I'd built at the beginning of this episode and basically paste it in my old save from before I'd enabled that mod, as there was a whole lot of building abandonment and stuff, and I figured that was probably one of the easiest ways to fix that, and also meant that restarting the game was kind of necessary when I added new assets and stuff anyway. And yeah, here I'm just working on some more suburban stuff to kind of fill in this area. I didn't originally want to put suburban stuff this close to all the other stuff, but I did because I kind of ran out of ideas, and we also already have a huge amount of industry and jobs in the city, so I felt like it wouldn't be too much of a problem in terms of the game mechanics and stuff to have some more houses here. And just putting in this little milk bar on the corner, so you know, people can just go down there and enjoy their time in the evening or something, and connecting up this pedestrian path or road or something to make it look like this garage off this corner house has a bit of road access. As some of my houses that I detailed in the asset editor do have garages that kind of stick out on the corner, and I have to use them in specific places, otherwise they look a bit weird. And also on the corners I sort of need to detail things by hand, as square houses don't really fit into not really that square or rectangular areas, so I have to kind of do some custom detailing rather than just plopping down my pre-detailed houses over and over again. At the moment I'm just using the University City houses, as they're relatively low detailed, so I can add stuff in myself, and I'm mainly just adding in like a trampoline or a swing set or something and a few trees to kind of beef out the area a bit and make it not look so blank. And here I was also using some more of those Jack's Shoe Company assets and just creating another little factory or warehouse or something along here, and putting in some trees and also some weeds in behind this, as you can see me doing here. And you also might notice that this area is now called Phillipstown. I decided to name all of the suburbs in my city, and this one I went for Phillipstown. It's not final. If you've got any better suggestions, then feel free to leave a comment with your suggestions and stuff, but I just wanted to kind of go with Phillipstown, as this is sort of a colonial country, I guess, like Australia and New Zealand. It was settled by the British, and I think at one point there was a King Philip or a Prince Philip or something that it could be named after. I think there's Prince Philip now, but I could be wrong. And just placing down a whole lot of these houses, and now moving on to this area along where this main road goes through, and placing down some shops and different sorts of buildings and stuff. Also this little sushi thing there, which I kind of connect up to the back of the parking lot, and also this 4-story building that at the time I thought might stand out, but it doesn't end up really standing out that much, which is kind of nice also, as I'm trying to incorporate some higher density shops and stuff in this area of the city, as it's still relatively close to the downtown. And here is kind of a little drive-through to the sushi place, as I realized that it had a little drive-through thing on the side, so decided to create like a little turnaround area that goes back into this parking lot. And yeah, also putting down the parking spaces, as you can see me do here. Yep, so I've actually covered quite a lot of what I have in my notes anyway for today, but I got a comment from Austrian Spiders on my last video saying that, if I read it out, the reworked bridge from the last episode looks awesome, and I like how you start to connect the areas together. The connecting is always the most difficult to do, and yeah, the connecting up is honestly quite difficult. As when you've got spaces in between, a lot of the times you have to kind of think about how you're going to do all the road layouts and stuff. I'd kind of done a lot of the road layouts for the area that we worked on in like the first half of the episode. I'd kind of already done a lot of that previously, so yeah, the road layout part wasn't so hard, but around here you can see that I'm doing some quite complex stuff with roads right now. And just basically where the main road goes through, I wanted to cut it off, as it had kind of been separated from the railway line to, you know, improve capacity through both the road and the railway and whatever. And obviously I've put in a new road that would have been built at some point, maybe like 20 years ago or something. I don't really know on all those details, as I just kind of make it up as I go. But also I feel like a lot of houses would have been cut out here to put in this connecting road that feeds into that main road, and here I'm just putting down the retaining wall and a whole lot of ploppable grass to kind of fill up that area and make it look like it has been cut down into. I think I put some trees along here to try and make it look not so empty, but yeah, and also filling up this corner with a little park thing, as I felt like this area is probably going to end up being kind of a bit lacking on the parks and stuff, so I added that in here. And here is a recycling centre. This one actually has a really low capacity, which annoyed me because I put it down in kind of expecting that it would do quite a lot for my city, and later found out that actually it does barely anything. So I will continue to have hidden trash or recycling centres and stuff kind of off to the edge of the city, and they just drive in through the main connecting road that connects up with the city. But here I was just kind of creating some more warehouses and deleting this one to kind of make a little parking lot thing come in through the back. I changed this area around quite a bit, as you'll see me do soon, but here I'm adding in some trucks and things so that it just kind of parked up. I guess they're for stuff from these warehouses and things, and also fencing off the railway line, as I like to do that along the whole length of it. And yeah, just trying to kind of change things up. I didn't end up putting the parking lot all the way through the back, and it just kind of goes into a dead end here and people can turn around or whatever, and using this little corner decal thing to try and make it look like it's not so unplanned and stuff. And you know, here is where things got a little bit tricky, as I was trying to make all these perfect and everything and line everything up, and it actually took quite a lot of off-camera work to work out what I was doing here, but I decided to have the metro line cut across basically the top of this whole suburb, and just making sure that the building heights and stuff weren't too high, that it was clipping into the bridge and what have you. I also noticed that with Move It sometimes the pillars will change and stuff, which is quite annoying because I have to go back through and upgrade all these to have the right pillars all the time, which is a pain, but it's not like super bad and stuff. And here you can see me moving some of the trees out of the way as they were in the way, and also making sure that this pillar wasn't really in the inside the yard of that house and just kind of fit in where there was space, and also putting in a little connection line that will hopefully connect up to the different lines so that I only need a metro depot on one line, and it can service both routes on these different tracks and stuff as they both start at the main railway station. And that should be enough for the mechanics of the metro overhaul mod to actually assign metro trains to the different lines, but that is a long time in the future. I imagine that metro yard or whatever won't be built for a long time. But here I'm also connecting up like a little T intersection just for all the traffic and stuff, and I do some traffic manager stuff here at some point, I think off camera, so yeah, just to get all the traffic flowing nicely and have the cars only turning in certain ways around those slip roads and stuff, and also using these lines to kind of make it look as though we're actually doing something here, because I just used a road that didn't have any center lines and decided to add the detailing in manually and give way signs and stuff on those corners so that cars turning have to give way to the cars coming through the lights. There's only so much time for the cars to get through the lights, and they kind of need to clear the intersection before the lights change and go to the next direction. Here also creating a little retaining wall with these like bridge support things from Avanya, and using procedural objects to kind of change them up a bit and make the fronts of them sink back and not appear so apparent when I don't really want them there, and just kind of have it ending here and change the heights a bit and tweak around with different things to make it all fit into place really well. Anyway, we're going to head into a live play shortly, and I'll give you a quick tour of what we've built in today's episode. So now that we're done with the time lapse, here's a quick overview of what we've built today. We've built basically all along here and right up to this road here, which covers about like 1.3 kilometers or something if you measure from this point over here on the road to basically this other side here. It's quite a long area, but not that wide, as just kind of filling in the space between the industrial that we built a while ago and the rail line here, but I haven't really done anything with the rest of the rail yard and just kind of left that blank to come back to later. Anyway, we'll head down into the city. Sorry about the lag, hopefully this fixes it, but we kind of have to trade off a lot to improve the performance like this. Anyway, I added in these power lines here, and also you still get a decent view of the city even if the textures are like appalling. Just these nice little chimneys here. Looks a bit different from some other parts of the city where you'll just be looking like over at the skyline. Obviously, yeah, it's not that detailed, like that building right there is just kind of screaming at you in pixels. There's the brewery tower over here, and then the 4 or something story building that I built over here doesn't actually stand out that much. I feel like it might be because it's behind the metro tracks, though. It doesn't really look all that spectacular compared to what I was kind of hoping, which was that it would stand out. But the metro tracks are here, and also some power lines that are still under it. I imagine that they're from before these metro tracks were here, and obviously they didn't need to remove them, so they didn't. The metro is kind of going to continue out along here, and one of the tracks and the other one will come back around here. I kind of want to have it so that it doesn't start raining, preferably. But anyway, the metro tracks will have connected in with the main train junction that you just saw before, and is currently behind this thing, that main train junction, and I imagine that they would have continued out here somewhere and then gone back around, but since metro tracks and rail tracks don't really connect with each other and don't share the same UIs and AIs and stuff, not UIs, then I kind of want to make it so that there's an old track that leads into where these ones join up again, and this was made to bypass the rail along with a whole lot of other stuff to improve the capacity through the whole entire network. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to mention in this live play, since you can actually see it, is I named some of these suburbs: Collingwood, New Surrey and Phillipstown, as well as West Side. That's probably just a temporary name, and obviously Hunterville and downtown, as the city's called Hunterville. But anyway, yeah, there's the suburbs. If you've got better name suggestions for them, then go ahead and let me know. And yeah, can we see the traffic? Yeah, we can see the traffic. The game is actually playing. I kind of like this view, but unfortunately I can't get down here far enough for some unknown reason. I thought I would be able to, but I think it's considering that the ground height is the same level as this, and it won't let me go any lower, but there's actually not that much traffic here anyway. Let's see if we can like follow one of these cars back up the thing. But yeah, I'll leave you with this, so if you've enjoyed this one, then leave a like, I'd really appreciate it, and it also helps with YouTube recognizing that this is a decent enough video to show to new people. If you're one of those new people and would like to see more of my videos, then subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a video, which at this stage should be next week, but I can't promise anything, as life will be life sometimes and gets in the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.